Why do you keep attracting emotionally unavailable lovers? Hello, my name is Dr. Nicole Lunan. I'm the CEO and co-founder of MoodMe, a new app that allows you to share over 400 plus moods, emotions, and desires with your partner, thus making communication simple, fun, and super easy. So the other night, I went to a comedy show. Hilarious, by the way. I'm always so intrigued about how they can interplay the serious talk with something lighthearted and fun, and then they bring humor to it. Anyways, on the way home, I was speaking to a good friend of mine, and she talked about a guy giving her the runaround. At first, he seemed like he was interested, really interested. He gave her the attention that she desired, but after real feelings started to develop, he became hot and cold, out of reach, wasn't wanting to show affection anymore, and super distant, which left her feeling really confused. Who doesn't like a good runaround? You know, one second he's super into you, and the next second he's like, who are you? What's your name? None of the things that I told you at the very beginning were true. I might have thought they were true, but like, they're just not true right now. Super, super frustrating. She wasn't even that into him in the beginning, but he slowly grew on her. And now after she developed some real feelings, he decided to just pull away. Isn't it ironic? Because it's like at the beginning, you're really not that into this person. And then they kind of just grow on you. You know, you get comfortable, you like to get taken out, feels good to have somebody there. And then like once you just barely start to open your heart, once you're like, oh, this kind of feels like a safe relationship. He's saying the right things, acting like the right, you know, gentleman, doing the right things, good on paper. I'm gonna slowly open my heart. And they must have like a sixth sense for these things, because as soon as you open your heart, boom,
the runaround.
Bye-bye. See you later. Nowhere to be found. The old bait and switch. I've heard about this phenomenon with not just one friend, but 5 of my girlfriends. The worst part is when the lovers did this to them, it created a space of confusion, unworthiness, and pain. They're left feeling like they're not worthy of love or consistent attention, which makes them then want to quell the pain and prove their ego wrong by looking for proof in another partner. Unfortunately, they continue to attract the same archetype of a person repeatedly. They continue to attract people who are emotionally unavailable. So you can see how this cycle is like extremely exhausting. It's like, well, this one person rejected me and denied me once I had the courage to actually open up a little bit, and they were like, bye-bye. And then the ego went, you suck. You should probably try again with somebody else because you're not good enough. So what they do is they get stuck in this like toxic loop of attracting that same person who is pretty much that same person, that same archetype, who's pretty much telling them that you're just not good enough. But really it's yourself that's telling yourself that you're not good enough. But that's beside the point. Okay, bye. Also, I'm using he or men as an example, but let's be honest, men and women and any kind of whatever your preference is can be emotionally unavailable and act like this. So nobody is off that hook. There's a metaphor in Sex and the City that I find super helpful when describing emotionally unavailable partners. People are like taxis, and if you haven't been to a large city, the taxis that are available drive along with their light on so that you know they have space for you and want to pick you up. Some drive around with their lights off because they're off work, or because they already have somebody in their cab, or they just aren't available. So emotionally unavailable people are like the taxis driving around with their lights off. They don't have the space to dive deep into a relationship, most likely because they're still healing about something they've been through, whether it's in their childhood or a past relationship. Unfortunately, they might do the bait and switch and act like their light is on, only to dim out quickly after you catch feelings for them. Maybe they don't know the status of their light, or maybe they don't know that their light is off, but to attract a partner, they have to act like their light is on. Either way, this conclusion is hurtful to the person who thinks that they're gonna catch the right of their life, a person who is open to exploring deep love, sex, and connection. So they're pretty much like, hey, my light's on. And you're like, is it really on? They're like, yeah, it's on. And then you like get into the cab and they're like, just kidding, it's off. You gotta get out. So why do we attract partners who are emotionally unavailable? This is the topic of today's video. But before we go any further, please send us some love and like, share, and subscribe. So why do we keep attracting people who are emotionally unavailable? Well, stick with me on this. I'm gonna say it. And if nobody else will say it, I will say it.
You are not emotionally available yourself.
Okay, so before you turn this video off, just let me explain really quick. The internal world matches the external world. So if you are emotionally available inside, wouldn't it make sense that you attract somebody who is emotionally available on the outside? So wouldn't that then mean that if you are emotionally unavailable inside, that your heart doesn't have the space to hold a deep love connection at this particular moment, that you would also attract a person who is emotionally unavailable and who also doesn't have the space to hold a relationship at this moment? I don't know who needs to hear this, but you knew that person wasn't open to like a serious relationship, but you kind of thought it was interesting. You liked the chase. Maybe, I don't know, it was a little thrilling for you, but you knew from the beginning and you did it anyways. The internal world reflects the external world. Simply speaking, right now, your heart doesn't have the space for the love that you would like to attract, or your heart just isn't open. So the next question is, what is taking up so much space in your heart? Let's take Julia, for example. Julia has gone through a hard breakup, one which the relationship lasted for several years. After the breakup, she's out dating, but instead of having fun, she's out looking for a deep relationship. Whether she admits this to herself or her friends is beside the point. Is she looking for another relationship because she's running from dealing with the pain from the last one? Probably. But also it's very clear that her heart still has her ex's belongings in there. He's got a house in there, a car, an Xbox. She has not vacated him out of the premises yet. He's got his posters up. He's got some jerseys in there, old sock that he worked out with, it smells. He's got a lot of stuff in there. So when she wants to move a new lover in, there's literally no space. Her heart is saying our capacity is full. We are no longer accepting applicants. So a battle of the heart and the mind begins. The heart says, okay, I'll let you have your fun, but I'll attract partners who don't plan to move in because there's no space. The heart appeases the mind or the ego by attracting people who are not looking for a home, just a temporary stay. If you are attracting emotionally unavailable partners, you gotta figure out who or what is living in your heart. Who or what is taking up all of your heart space? If you're attracting emotionally unavailable partners, it's most likely because you are not ready yet to fully open your heart. However, you still want to play. The issue with most is that we can't separate play and emotion. So most will go into a dating situation where we want to play, but then feelings get involved and suddenly we want a relationship. Because whatever was experienced in the dating process felt really good, even though it's temporary. It gave you a taste of what support and connection felt like, and it tasted so good. If you find yourself going through these whirlwind relationships with emotionally unavailable people, it's your heart's way of reminding you that yes, connection and touch with another person does feel good. And yes, it's time to focus on your heart and create space for that. Okay, so let's do something really uncomfortable for a second and take ownership for our choices and decisions. Nobody else is bringing these emotionally unavailable people into your life. Nobody else but you. You are the common denominator. So although it's easy to say that dating sucks and men suck and relationships suck, but it's hard to ask yourself why you are attracting these people. Well, I got some must-ask questions for people who keep attracting others that are emotionally unavailable. What part of you is saying that you don't deserve a loving partner? What part of you is saying that you are not worthy of love? What part of you is holding on to past hurts and pains and therefore deciding not to trust? What part of you is saying yes to a partner who you know doesn't want a relationship and instead you attempt to change them to prove that you are worthy of love? Is there enough space in your heart for love? Is there enough space in your heart for a new relationship? Are you telling your dates that you don't want a relationship, then switching your mind halfway through and expecting something different? If you want to stop attracting emotionally unavailable partners, you gotta begin with asking yourself these questions. All right, y'all, that concludes our video. Tell me what you think about the video and the content of the video. That's pretty bad. Okay, y'all, that concludes our video on Are you attracting emotionally unavailable people? Why are you attracting emotionally unavailable people? Please answer these questions that were featured in the video. And if you feel brave or courageous, go ahead and share some in the comment section because we would love to hear from you. And as always, see you later, moodlings.